Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Lazer Grand Arena Grand Finals coming at you. Dolan joined by T1G, aknzx, and FlyingTuna. T1G, here we go.
Here we go indeed. This has been an exciting weekend of matches and a very busy day of matches for aknzx, coming in now for his fourth match of the day against a FlyingTuna who has looked just unstoppable in his first two matches today coming into this grand final. I am very, very excited to see how this one plays out. This pool is very good for both of these guys, and they both seem to be playing quite well, even if Tuna did beat aknzx already once today. Looking for the rematch, looking for the revenge, and we'll see if aknzx can make it happen.
Yeah, been on quite the run, as you mentioned, fourth match of the day, and then before that, had a close call against Zudinator in the quarterfinals. So it's been a busy weekend for aknzx here, but FlyingTuna, as you said, has looked absolutely deadly in his two appearances this weekend against aknzx and Amaya Kokoro.
Yeah, of course, Tuna, the beneficiary of a forfeit yesterday, so doesn't have that little extra bit of data that we would have gotten from him otherwise, but comes in today, puts up a 5.45 million score, puts up a 5.64 million score. Those are the two best single performances of the weekend. And, I think that's to be expected, right? He's long been recognized as one of the best tournament players out there, able to come in and perform well on a humongous variety of different maps at all different star ranges and all different tournaments. So definitely a player that is well known for what he's capable of in these sorts of settings. aknzx, he was a relative newcomer last year, right? He was on the Australian OWC team last year, and had managed to make a name for himself that way, shot up the rankings in solo play as well, and now he finds himself here in the grand final of LGA for its first iteration. So the up and up track here for aknzx is really awesome to see as well.
Yep, indeed, and here we go. We're getting to the draft. There's the pool. First things first, we got some bans. It's going to be Hidden 3 from aknzx. We talked about that. That's a very common ban out of aknzx. Banned that in his last match. And FlyingTuna will take out Double Time 2, I believe.
Yeah, aknzx has banned Hidden 3 first, I believe, every match he's played so far today, and continues that trend. Tuna, no surprise with the first ban and the first pick there, bans the DT2. aknzx, very, very strong tapping player, and opts immediately into the Nomad 4, that heavy tech Nomad. Again, just something that you expect Tuna to be one of the best at, and was the biggest gap between him and aknzx the last time they played.
And then immediately two Double Time picks here out of aknzx. Going to be Double Time 3, then Double Time 4.
And that's a bit of an adaptation there, going into the DT4 instead of the DT1 was his second pick last time, but goes into the DT4. He picked it last time as well, but in the next phase after, so obviously just wants to opt into those heavier mechanics DT picks, high AR, high BPM, tapping type of maps. And Tuna the Hidden 2, which was also his second pick last time, so the initial pick order, changing up to the Nomad 4 from the Nomad 5 for Tuna, but keeps the Hidden 2 as the second pick, the low AR, kind of snappy, awkward aim Hidden, something that he feels comfortable on in this matchup. Yeah,
and actually that's a pretty nice pick given just what aknzx did next with Double Time 1, completely maxing out the DT picks here.
Well, and it's not, I will stop you there. This is a ban phase, so we are actually going to be going into 2 bans per player now. So the DT1 is going to be erased because we are not at a pick phase yet, and Tuna might have
ahead of himself.
Yeah, Tuna might be banning that. Now that we saw aknzx thinking about picking it, I suspect Tuna probably would have been banning it anyway. So I don't really think that changes anything. That was always going to be his ban in this phase. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Players, commentators, spectators, and staff all getting used to this format in real time, as this is only our second weekend playing on this, so we, I think, allow for a couple of pickups here and there.
Yeah, and also, man, they were kind of just going through them really quickly there. You really like to see that. The players have it really calculated. They've been playing matches on this pool all weekend, so not surprising that they kind of already know what they want to do here. And it's going to be a Nomad 5 and Hard Rock 1 ban from aknzx.
Yeah, those maps, not quite as crystallized one direction or another, so perhaps just a little bit less comfortable on them. He banned the Nomad 1 and the Hard Rock 1 last time, but that was with the Nomad 5 already having been picked, so just a small adaptation to add in that Hard Rock 1, which is a pretty awkward aimy Hard Rock 1. Nomad 5, of course, the low AR tapping, like kind of finger control and aim control. And Tuna Nomad 2, it's a Nomad 2. Just a kind of standard flow aim stamina map. That will send us into the last pick. So we have one more pick per player, which will be probably, let's see. So we've got Nomad 1 and 3, Hidden 1, and Hard Rock 2 and 3. This is a tough spot for aknzx to be in, I feel. I don't know that any of these feel super great for him in a matchup against Tuna.
Yeah,
gonna be Hard Rock 2.
Gonna go with the Hard Rock 2. I was gonna say the maps left in the pool are kind of completely different than what's been picked and banned before, so now we're kind of getting into some uncharted territory. We'll see how Tuna wants to end this match out here on his last pick. What will be map number 6?
I will note aknzx put up a very solid score on that Hard Rock 2 in his match earlier against Tebi. So we'll see if he can maybe run that one back. And Nomad 3 last pick for Tuna. I like that a lot. Tuna, a very, very strong ult player, so no real surprise there as the last pick from him.
And all right, that is going to get us set here. Nomad 4 will get us started, so it's going to be Nomad, double time, Hidden, Hard Rock, Nomad.
And this is going to be, in a kind of a reverse, kind of a return to their previous match a little bit, where you have Tuna trying to take a solid lead on his first pick, going into 2 really good aknzx picks, and we'll have to see if he can, kind of stay in touch through both of those, where aknzx is expected to be favored and avoid too much of a score difference. But the Nomad 4 first pick I really like a lot. As I said, this was the biggest score gap between these two when they played in their semifinal. And this is a skill set that Tuna is incredibly strong on, so you've got to think that he is going to perform well here.
Yeah, and a bit of pressure on him to perform here, because aknzx is also well aware of that. Here we go.
Here we go.
Grand Finals underway here in the inaugural Lazer Grand Arena.
Starting off with a banger here on Nelv, man. I tell you what, this song is very, very hype. I think as far as, your Nomad 4 types of songs go, that big break with the big sliders really builds up the tension, but we'll see what the score is like when we get there. As you can already see, Tuna starting to eke out a bit of an early lead. The superior accuracy, superior combo, as to be expected from one of the best tech players to ever touch tournament play.
Yep, and another miss there for aknzx. FlyingTuna gonna pull a gap here, and really is banking on quite a significant gap to be able to pull into the later rounds of this grand final.
And this is starting off exactly how you would want if you're FlyingTuna. 99.5 accuracy. FC still intact, and aknzx really struggling a lot. Definitely not a map that he's super comfortable with in any stretch of the imagination. It is a break from Tuna, so it is going to temper that score gap a little bit.
Yeah, and right at the halfway mark for Tuna, so he's going to be score capped to the max here, but again, if Tuna can lock in, we'll still be able to do a lot of damage. Already has 100k on the score line.
This is good for aknzx though at the moment, building up some decent combo. Does break just before the break at the 2/3 mark, which is a shame because this would have been a little bit of free combo for him, especially after he hit that space pattern. But instead, it's Tuna taking back over the accuracy, back up over 99, the combo back where it needs to be, and we'll see what kind of score gap he can build in this ending section.
At the mercy of FlyingTuna now. Both players going down, and that's good for aknzx, as that will lock that score gap in where it is at 120,000.
That does not look like Tuna is going to be able to make any larger of a lead than he has right now. The 120k or thereabouts. A little client desync here at the end. Hopefully doesn't run into issues at the very end, but a solid score again from Tuna on this map, 718k, but aknzx keeping it keeping it in range, only 122k score difference. He's not going to be too unhappy about that with his 2 picks to come after this. It's a good score from both players on the Nomad 4, but Tuna would have liked a little bit more out of that one for sure.
I don't know who you are, but believe me, B.
Yeah, 123,555 is the final margin, as you see at the top of your screen. And now into round number 2, double time.
And this was expected to be where aknzx would need to put up his scores. This incredibly challenging breakcore tapping map is something that works very well for him and is less of a favored skill set for FlyingTuna.
We'll see how much of a gap aknzx can pull back, but you can't sleep on FlyingTuna. FlyingTuna is one of the best players in the world, and there's an early break for aknzx.
Absolutely not at all what he could afford in this map. He needs to make up the gap on this pick, I think, in order to keep the match close. And Tuna, you know, he's been on that tapping grind. He's been on that speed arc over the last year or so. And it's very valuable as he's holding on to a big combo with pretty reasonable accuracy as well and taking the lead on his opponent's first pick here.
Yeah, absolutely not what aknzx wanted to see. But there's still plenty of time left in the map. We're approaching that halfway mark now as we speak. Will Tuna get score capped again? aknzx could really use a miss.
Tough to say. Tuna looking so solid. No real accuracy drops either. 98.7 means that he's decently comfortable with this pick. And with Lazer having, you know, relatively higher scoring than standard V2 in the first place, Tuna can be expected to get a pretty massive score on this even if he does break here in the back third, which is a huge advantage. aknzx does have the accuracy lead, but that combo lead's still on Tuna's side, looking magnificent.
And an absolute nightmare for aknzx if he was able to see that score gap. It's 60k in favor of FlyingTuna.
And you just can't afford this if you're aknzx. We've talked at length in the past, you know, about the discrepancy on speed maps being possibly the largest between players if one is great and one is not. But in this case, it is both players displaying an extreme amount of skill on this map. Just that early break, all that's separating them. And even with the ACK lead for aknzx, it's not enough to bring it back versus the superior combo of Tuna, who's going to look to pull out an FC here.
I mean, we thought aknzx would be able to eat into the gap a little bit, and instead has lost 75k to FlyingTuna there, who will come away with over 1 million points.
Yeah, that was, what, 657 PP score on the Breakcore DT2 FC from FlyingTuna. I mean, that is nuts, no?
And aknzx put up a 580.
That
was not a bad score to aknzx. A 1 miss there. But that's just the beast that he's dealing with in FlyingTuna. And now it's a 200k gap as we get into the third map here. Thankfully for aknzx, it's another one of his picks, but we'll need to pull some sort of a gap here to get back into this grand final.
Yeah, and this is a tricky one to pull a gap back on as he already finds a break right at the start. This one not super long. And this is not quite so one-sided in terms of what your expected skill set would be. Not that it was one-sided anyway, because this is, you know, kind of a little more of this swing rhythm slider aim. This is not like a raw tapping map or anything. This is one where you're going to see multiple breaks from both players, I think.
Yep, and now another break from aknzx after Tuna found a break. So now Tuna with the advantage in the driver's seat by about 30,000 points into the spinner now. And the question is, will Tuna just find another miss? And he's just been so consistent so far.
Yeah, he's been the best performer on the day of everyone. As we said at the beginning, has the 2 highest total scores. Does end up breaking at this midpoint, but looking at the combo from aknzx is just not where it needs to be. Down on combo, down on ACK, down on score. And Tuna continuing to grow that advantage with a 50k lead so far.
It just seems aknzx just can't quite get into a rhythm fully. Will establish some nice combos, but is what can you do when your opponent's FlyingTuna?
The answer seems to be not a lot, unfortunately for aknzx. He is starting to build up some combo into the last quarter of the map, but it's just going to look to be too little too late at this rate, man. both these players are performing incredibly, I have to say, but Tuna just a little bit superior and just keeping his nose out in front when it matters so far through these first 2 picks.
Oh, that's a heartbreaking miss there for aknzx onto the slider head.
And that's just going to take us into the ending, and that's going to be another point where Tuna makes up more score. It's going to be about 80,000, and that lead now almost 300k through 3 maps. Not what you want to see if you're aknzx, and those were your 2 first picks, your opponent beating you on both of them.
And now we are heading into a hidden 2 pick, I believe, out of FlyingTuna, which is going to completely change the dynamic of essentially everything, because we just played 2 double time maps going into a hidden 2 pick. Of all things, time to put the reading glasses on.
Yeah, it's actually a crazy switch up. You go from an AR 10.3 and an AR 10.4 DT map into an AR 8 hidden. It is about as big of a difference as you can possibly imagine. So who can adapt faster, who can adapt better is going to be the question. And I think you're going to see both players probably having a little bit of trouble. This was not their best score in their last match, so we'll see what kind of improvements they can maybe make.
A couple early breaks here from aknzx here, but yeah, we're going to see the players struggle just because of the nature of the game. You go from 2 high AR double time maps into a hidden 2 pick, you're going to struggle a little bit, but not if your name is FlyingTuna, apparently.
Yeah, if you're FlyingTuna, everything in this game is just a little bit too easy for you right now. He's at the top of this tournament, in the kind of winner's side here of this final for a reason. Dude has been on fire today. Dude has been playing really well in general, and now he's on a skill set where his opponent clearly struggling. A big misaim there from aknzx, dropping several breaks. Meanwhile, Tuna looking to steady things out here in this after getting through the 1/4 mark.
I mean, you shouldn't be allowed to full combo this after you go through these 2 DT maps. It's just not allowed. Tuna, what are you doing? Finally will show us that he is indeed a human being and goes down there, but damage has been done nonetheless. That's still an incredible combo out of FlyingTuna.
Yeah, this is not a map where we've seen a lot of players building up humongous combos. You generally see a decent number of breaks, so just building up any sizable combo is going to be pretty solid stuff. And
aknzx was actually winning the accuracy battle on this map for most of the way. It was just that combo that was keeping FlyingTuna ahead, as that gap's only 40,000, but that miss from aknzx is going to really change things here.
Yeah, this is still Osu, and combo is still going to reign supreme, and the accuracy coming back together anyway. And now Tuna out in front by a couple hundred combo. This is just not looking great for aknzx. Even if he minimizes the score difference on this pick, Tuna's still going to continue to build his lead, right? So it's just not a great spot to be in, sadly.
I mean, what can you do? That's just... It's so difficult. I mean, we've talked about it the entirety of the map, but going into an AR8 hidden pick, I mean, with some of these complex reading patterns, it's just unlike anything the players have been playing in the match to this point. We've got a Hard Rock pick coming up after this T1G.
Yeah, the way that this draft proceeded is really wild in terms of skill sets, huh? Because we're going straight into CS 7.8 after this. It's like they just designed the map draft to have the biggest switches in skill set possible over the course of the match. And it's benefiting Tuna here, as he is clearly the better suited at adjusting from those high AR DTs into this low AR hidden, and we'll see if the same is true of that small circle size hard rack.
But coming to the end, the final 30 seconds of this hidden 2 pick, I mean, it's a valiant effort here still from aknzx, despite, the score gap right now of FlyingTuna. Still not really losing the accuracy battle to Tuna by that much, by like 0.2%, but
it's actually up in the act now. Yeah, it's really just been the combo throughout. aknzx very rarely able to build up any sort of combo on this pick, and Tuna built up a couple of larger ones, and that was the real difference maker. Just built him up this lead, and wow, another nearly 200,000 points added. That is a really good score from Tuna, man. 788k it looks like on that one. That's very, very solid. His consistency over the course of this match so far has been very, very impressive, and it's built him a sizable gap thus far.
And 472,000 points to be precise about that gap. That is pretty crazy through 4 maps. And now it's on to the Hard Rock pick here. This is Hard Rock 2, I believe.
It is indeed Hard Rock 2, Infinity Heaven, one of the 2 hewn songs in this pool, back-to-back Hard Rocks 2 and 3. This is CS 7.8. We like to call it Osu for ants. You need to get out your magnifying glass. After you got out your reading glasses, you got to switch them over to a magnifying glass, going from that Hidden 2 to this Hard Rock 2.
No kidding.
It is a brutal flow aim map where the spacing with Hard Rock on with this circle size is just incredibly big.
All right, the GL's in the chat. Round number 5 in this grand final. 3.31 million against 2.84. aknzx is going to need to see some pretty significant swings in order to contest this grand finals here, T1G.
Yeah, absolutely. He did put up a 782k on this map in his match against Tebi. So aknzx has the potential for a really good score on this, but it feels like his level may have unfortunately just dipped a little bit for this match from where he needed it to be. He's got to pick it back up in these last 2 picks if he wants to make this competitive, as you see both players really struggling with the intro here.
Yeah, and so far so good. You know, leading FlyingTuna here will find the break there. As you said, though, is going to need a significant win to really put the wind back in his sails on this one, as both players now trading misses.
Yeah, this is really rough for both guys so far, and this may be an effect of the extreme skill set changes map to map. Again, we went from high AR to low AR hidden to a small circle size Hard Rock, and that's just a big adjustment with really no breaks in between them. And both these guys having a lot of trouble building any combo.
It's even hitting Tuna pretty hard here. You can see FlyingTuna is now really starting to struggle on this one. But aknzx has been out-acking Tuna on several of these maps. It has just been a combo game that has kept FlyingTuna in the lead.
And again, building that combo lead as aknzx breaks, coming back into the next flow section. See if anybody can hold some combo here. It's a break from Tuna, it's a break from aknzx. I think the answer to that is probably looking like it's going to be a no.
35 seconds left in the beat map, and we still don't even know who is going to be pulling a gap on this map. They're trading the score lead back and forth, and that honestly just favors FlyingTuna given the current state of affairs in this match.
Ooh. I think it looks like aknzx is going to take this one. He's not going to gain much score out of it, sadly. But this is going to be the first time in this match he will have any advantage on a pick. It's going to be by 10,000 or so. But it's going to be a little bit of a moral victory, perhaps, here for the Australian player, able to at least say, I had one map where I was superior. And, you know, you take what you can out of a match like this against a player on a level such as Tuna.
Yep, 15,217 points will be all aknzx will be able to pull back on that one. And just needed so much more, unfortunately. And now we're going into No Mod 3. Now, it's worth noting that in the draft phase, that FlyingTuna kind of admitted that after this pick was made, that it was a mispick, kind of a mistake. Would have picked a different map in the pool, potentially. But that's just how fast the picks and bans go in the Lazer Grand Arena.
Yeah, these guys definitely speed ran that draft phase. In Tuna's defense, I don't know that there was anything that was going to be extremely one-sided regardless at that stage of the draft. Not a lot of maps remaining. I mean, you could argue that he maybe would have wanted like a raw aim or something, but I don't know that that's really the case. So I think this is fine. And with the gap being where it is, right, it's 450k. That is, for all intents and purposes, in a matchup where one player is playing this well, regardless of what their opponent does, that is all, for all intents and purposes, insurmountable. You hate to say it, but it's kind of starting to be the case here.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, aknzx would need to pull back about 250,000 points on this pick to really, you know, kind of stand a chance going forward, but there's just not that much time left in the match, and unfortunately, 500,000 is just a lot of points.
Yeah, it's just been all Tuna all the time, and you really have to give him a lot of credit for how well he's played in this match, and all day, realistically, has just been the best player, and he's showing it here for now the third time. We'll see if he can crest the 5 million barrier. He's done it twice so far. This one perhaps will be a little more challenging, but he needs about, 550k per map, so doable but difficult. We'll see how this one goes. About halfway through, looking clean, calm, and collected so far.
And some big combos were on the board, but aknzx will find a break, and now it's just all eyes on FlyingTuna. I mean, some brilliant accuracies here on both players. 99s on the board on a No Mod 3. Pretty impressive stuff to see on the alt pick, but it's been FlyingTuna combo gaming. That's been the story of this grand final.
Yeah, it really has. Tuna has always been holding strong when his opponent was not. And, even on this one, he's got the accuracy lead and the combo lead, though he does find a late break, so no FC will be forthcoming, but it's still going to be a great score. And I think, a little bit of this is just the extensive amount of experience Tuna has in these settings, right? He's played a lot of grand finals in his time, and he is no stranger to the nerves, or perhaps by now lack thereof, that they can bring.
Yep, despite being the 6th seed coming into this tournament, we'll be taking out the number 2 seed here, potentially. Things are looking really good, and 608,000 is the gap here through 6 maps.
Yeah, just a crazy impressive performance from Tuna so far. Just needs 197k on the last map to break the 5 mil barrier again. And that last map is going to be a pretty special one, I think.
Indeed, because I believe we were given some special instructions on our script here from Lazer. Can you, what was that note, T1G? What did he leave us?
Yeah, so we're going to be going into another brand new Osu original today. It is going to be our second of these new originals, and we're going to be revealing it, I believe, right now. This will be the first time the world has seen Honor Reproach by Cytosis.
Take a look. So, cool little intro video there.
I believe, I thought we were going right into it. I apologize.
Yeah. I really thought there was going to be like a map and,
it looks like Tuna is having to download the map. Just a brief second. So unfortunately, our sense of timing going to be thrown off just a little bit. But yes, this is going to be our second brand new Osu original custom map for the day. This one, Captain 1 and Sing. And you can hear what you're getting into. It's going to be a mechanically demanding, technical map. Breakcore, it's got rhythm changes, it's got slider aim, it's everything you've come to know and love from late round maps from the mappers involved in this one, and I'm very excited to see this, and I know everyone on the team is very excited to present this to the world.
Indeed. FlyingTuna, you're foiling your opponent's plans and the production staff. He's brutal, I tell you. Brutal. But let's take a look here.
This one should be fun to watch, should be fun to play. We've seen what Tuna is capable of on these tech maps. We've seen what aknzx is capable of on the mechanically demanding ones. And we love showing off maps like this for the first time. There just is such a level of excitement involved in them.
Oh yeah, everyone loves, especially an Osu original, it's not just that it's a new map, it's a new song, it's a new everything, right?
It is just brand new to everyone everywhere, and it is Tuna with that small advantage, the accuracy going his way by a tad bit. Combo in favor of aknzx. We'll see if he can maybe make up just a little more score again. Kind of a moral victory, if anything, because you're not really bringing back 600k, but a little moral victory would be pretty nice for aknzx here at the end of this grand finals. Looking like it's going to be FlyingTuna taking the match regardless, but we're just looking for an exquisite performance on this very challenging last pick.
Yeah, we're just looking to see how the very best in the world handle this very challenging map that has been set before them. So far, it's pretty even. Just a 20k advantage for FlyingTuna.
We gotta think how difficult this map would be on stable score v2 versus on Lazer scoring with these buzz sliders. That would be truly brutal. But man, aknzx building some combo here through this really challenging middle slider section.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Very impressive stuff there. 400 combo into the spinner.
Now all of a sudden, it's aknzx on the combo game and FlyingTuna out hacking.
Yeah, really impressive stuff here from aknzx to build that score back up his way. Sounds like he's going to get just a little bit of a slowdown section. This is a little bit of 1/3 snapping. Quiets things down before I'm sure what will be a bombastic crescendo of an ending if I am to expect what I usually can expect out of these types of songs.
An unfortunate miss for aknzx there on the build-up, but here it is.
All right, this actually hits. Like just like anyone else, this is my first time seeing this entire map, so learning it along with the rest of you, and man, I'm loving this.
Definitely looks like something that these top players can really just sink their teeth into, and that's exactly what FlyingTuna was doing there before he gave up that 300 combo. Into the final 10 seconds of the map.
It's gonna be Tuna taking another point, making a little bit more score advantage, and he's gonna be the champion here as well, Dolan.
And it's going to be another big final score from FlyingTuna. 5.41 million points will be good enough to best aknzx's 4.75 here in the grand finals. And FlyingTuna is your champion of the Lazer Grand Arena.
And what an impressive day this was from Tuna. Just back-to-back-to-back amazing performances in all three of his matches today. 5.4 mil twice, 5.6 mil another time. And he'll take home a badge. He'll take home some hardware. Gonna get a physical prize for this as well. Gonna be a good scene for Tuna, who has been part of this tournament scene for so long and who has been established at the top for such a long time. Very impressive stuff.
Indeed, indeed. That's right. It was confirmed to us shortly before the broadcast that our top three will be receiving physical medals for their efforts here today.
Yeah, very cool that was made possible at the last minute, and just very cool the way this entire tournament went. To be honest, I think a lot of people were uncertain what they were getting into, right, with Lazer Grand Arena. It's on a new client, it's with a new format, it's with a lot of changes that people are not used to, but I think everyone involved has had a really great time with it. It's been a lot of excitement, it's been fun to watch, it's been fun to cast, and I, for one, want to say just a big shout out to the organizers for setting this up, putting this together, trying something new, and I think really succeeding in that.
Yeah, it's definitely a breath of fresh air in the tournament scene to see a new format kind of played out with kind of a new draft order, bands, picks, just new everything. It was really refreshing to see that, as well as to see some original songs and maps get created. They really went over the top and all out for it. Not just the organizers, but the players as well. We got to thank our fellow co-casters, our referees, our map poolers. It takes a lot of people to pull this off, and I hope this was able to give the community a taste of what tournaments on Lazer could look like going forward, because it's definitely some exciting stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. The future of Lazer, I think, is looking brighter and brighter as we get more eyes on it, as you said, as we get more people involved in it, really start to build on what is possible with everything that Lazer has to offer. And like I said, I mean, this has just been a joy to be a part of for me. I've had a lot of fun casting this, and I hope everybody has had just as much fun playing in it or staffing it otherwise, and all the spectators watching as well.
Indeed. It was an absolute joy and a delight, but I think that's going to be all for us for now. We will see you next time.